What is going on, everybody? It's Matt again coming at you. And today, obviously, we're going to go over the three different types of wearable tech personas and where you may fall between the three different types and what that might mean about you. But before we jump into that, I want to read a review that was left on iTunes for our podcast coming at you from Krager55, who left us a 5-star review and said, "Great podcast. The first episode that got me interested was the episode about pregnancy. As a type 1 myself, I found it to be very informational. Now, it may not be medical advice, but being able to hear other people's experiences, especially with diabetes, is very helpful and helps maintain this crazy disease. I'm all caught up and can't wait for more episodes." Well, thank you so much, Krager55, for leaving us that review. And anybody who's listening, we would love it if you would leave us a review on iTunes and let us know what you think about the show, and you just might get your name shouted out on one of these episodes. Now, we're going to get back into the episode. I'll cue up the theme song now, and we'll jump right into it. I've spent the last 10 years pushing the limits while identifying trends and patterns in my type 1 diabetes management. Follow along as I learn, apply, and share the fitness, nutrition, and lifestyle strategies that I've learned from diabetes experts around the world. The real question is, how can we live fearlessly with diabetes while maintaining stable blood sugars? This podcast is here to give you the answer. My name is Matt Vandervecht, and with my co-host Ali Abdul Karim, we welcome you to Pardon My Pancreas. What's up, Pardon My Pancreas? What you do not know, and what is very exciting, is that today I am recording this on my camera as well as on the microphone. So for anybody who wants to pick up and watch this on YouTube, we got it on YouTube as well. This is a first try just to see how it goes, and hopefully the audio turns out great on both of them. But today I want to share some stories with you guys actually about something that happened today. And for anybody watching on YouTube, as you can tell, I've got two mics set up. That is on purpose because sometimes technology doesn't work the way you want it to. But today's story is actually about my Dexcom and wearable tech in general. So essentially, something that you may not know about me is I used to be a model and an actor way back in the day. Not way back, it's only a couple years ago. But this is something that for a while was kind of my main thing. And I slowly moved away from it as I moved away from LA. And now I'm back in LA, so I figured, you know what, why not? I'm gonna jump back into it. And we're in about week 2 of being here. And again, for anybody watching the video, we're in our new place. Obviously you can't see the rest of the apartment. Maybe I'll do a little tour later on, but loving our new place. And it's fun being back in LA. Miss the family in San Diego, but it's good to be back here. Still in Southern California, so it's not bad overall. But today's topic, right? Wearable tech and what that can look like as far as your own mindset, if that's getting in the way, if you're proud and loud and or loud and proud, and what your own feelings are about wearable tech. So today, I actually had a call back for an audition that I did last week, and it was in the SAG building, which those of you who don't know what SAG is, it's the Screen Actors Guild, and I was very excited about it because I had not ever been inside that building before. That's where the big shots go. The Screen Actors Guild, that's Hollywood. That's Hollywood, baby. And I was excited to go in there, not only just to be inside the building, but to be auditioning for a role within that building. I was pretty stoked. And then of course to find out yesterday, because everything is last minute in Hollywood, that I got the call back. So today I head back in, same building, go back into the Screen Actors Guild, and you know, I'm prepped, whatever, got my my mindset on right, and head into the room. And keep in mind, the original audition was shirtless, and it was for a kind of a fitness role. And I want to say I lucked out because all of my wearable tech was kind of, you know, hidden in a sense. My Dexcom's in the back of my arm, so I don't really have to worry about them seeing that. I faced the camera, positioned myself so that the Dexcom was hidden because I don't want to necessarily stand out just yet. And because they want you to fit a very specific role, and I'm pretty sure they're not looking for a type 1 diabetic to play a type 1 diabetic role. And so while in no way do I hide my diabetes, I didn't want to stand out in that audition, and thankfully my insulin site was on my leg. But went through the audition, it went great, so I got the call back today, and today my sites are in different places. Well, my Dexcom's still on my arm, but my insulin pump's on my stomach. So I was like, all right, well, today they're going to find out that I have type 1 diabetes because it's very clear that I have an insulin pump and it is attached to my abdomen. So I went in just like, all right, let's do this thing. And as I was doing my role, he was like, oh, today we're not taking shirts off, it's all good, we're just kind of seeing how you feel on camera. And as I was moving around and going through the scene, he noticed the Dexcom on and was like, oh, you have diabetes. And I was like, whoa, yeah, no one ever guesses that from a Dexcom. And he was like, oh, my friend has it. And it's cool that he understood what diabetes was, and he recognized the Dexcom. It's cool for a second because one of the other casting agents turned around and was like, oh yeah, that's for chemo, right? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, ugh, not quite. But it was still nice that he knew what a Dexcom was, understood that it was for diabetes. But the problem is that once he saw that, his whole mindset around me shifted. And it became more of, so can you move that? Can you take that off? And I was like, ugh, no. I can't really take it off for you. I change it every 10 days though. So if you give me enough time, enough notice beforehand for the job, I can move it to my lower back. And he's like, oh, so you can just move it. And I was like, no. I move it every 10 days. So if you give me a fair warning beforehand, I can put the next one on my lower back. And it kind of took some back and forth until he understood that, you know, I can't move this one on my arm, but I can put the next one on my lower back. And so he's like, okay, we'll figure it out. You know, if you get this job, we'll figure that part out. But in my head, I was like, man, they do not like this thing. They don't want it on camera. So in my own head, I started getting at myself thinking, you're not the guy for the role. You're not going to get this because they don't want a diabetic playing this role. They don't want to see a Dexcom. They don't want to see a insulin pump site because they hadn't even seen my insulin pump. Remember, this one today was keep the shirt on. So they didn't know that I had an insulin pump site on my abdomen. Granted, I could move that as well, right? That shifts every 3 days. But in my head, I started to get down on myself. I started to think, I'm not right for this role because I have wearable tech. And I got back into a place, and it reminded me when I was first able to get the Dexcom of a place that I used to be at within my own mindset. And that is that when I first got Dexcom, I was embarrassed. I was really embarrassed about it. And I did not want anyone to know that I had diabetes in the first place. But I didn't want anybody to see my wearable tech, my Dexcom, because that made me different. And originally, to me, I was super shy. I didn't want extra attention. I didn't want people seeing me differently or having any reason to see me differently. So even just being tall, right? I'm a tall guy. That stands out. And so I got more attention for that, and I didn't like it initially because again, I used to be very, very shy, and that was a difficult thing for me. So to have this wearable tech where even if I wore clothing that was too tight, they could see the outline of my Dexcom, my diabetes gear, and that was a difficult thing for me. And so what I want to talk about today is essentially the 3 types of type 1 diabetic wearable tech personas. And that first type, right, is what we see all over social media. It's the loud and proud. People who are showing off all of their devices, whatever it may be, poking themselves in public, injecting in public, wearing sleeveless tank tops to show off their Dexcoms, their insulin pump sites on their stomach, like where mine's at, going to the beach, just showing off. I have type 1 diabetes, this is what it looks like, deal with it, right? And it's fun to see that because it spreads advocacy. People ask questions. Hey, is that a nicotine patch? And you're like, no, it's a Dexcom, let me tell you a lot about it. And you get in this conversation where you're able to educate people, which is incredible. Spreading awareness, spreading knowledge, that is how we gain more awareness of what's going on within our own lives, but also how we can gain that attention we need to push for a cure, to push for better insulin prices, to push for everything. That's how you gain that, is getting attention for it. So the people who are loud and proud, I'm very happy to see that all over, gaining popularity, people showing off, literally showing off their diabetes devices. It's so cool to see that. However, I've also noticed this be a trend where it can be a little bit fake. People wear their sites out in the open for one day, they'll go do a bunch of photo shoots, and they'll cover it up. So on social media, and that's an entirely different topic, all the fakeness on social media, but on social media, they look like an advocate. They look like they're doing the right thing and spreading awareness and going on educating people. But in reality, they're embarrassed on the inside. And I'm not saying you're bad for being embarrassed. I'm saying don't put out this fake front. Be who you are. Be genuine. And this leads me to kind of the second persona that most of us know, gonna call him the shy guy. It can be a girl's too, okay, so it can be a gal, but guy rhymes with shy, so it's the shy guy. But the persona of somebody who is shy about their diabetes devices, where I used to be in the beginning. I loved wearing tank tops. Growing up, tank tops are fun. Sun's out, guns out, right? But when I got the Dexcom and I started learning that I could wear it on the back of my arm, right? You're not supposed to, but let's be honest, most of us don't follow the rules when it comes to diabetes tech, especially our loopers out there. It's awesome. The hashtag we are not waiting. But within that realm, I started wearing it on the back of my arm. And actually initially it was on the side of my arm, at a diagonal. That was weird. I wanted to be different and find my own way. But I stopped wearing tank tops. And before that, I found kind of my own hack, which was wearing it on my lower back, which meant I could wear tank tops, but I couldn't go shirtless. And so I had this thing in my head initially, years ago, when I was scared to wear my diabetes tech out in the open. Now at that point, I was not on a injection, or on injections. I was not on a pump. I was on daily injections, and I had the Dexcom, so it was this new thing to me that now all of a sudden I could be labeled as somebody with diabetes based on my appearance. Because beforehand, no one could ever tell, right? When I was first diagnosed, again, embarrassed, I was shy. I would walk to the bathroom whenever we go eat dinner or lunch or eat out. I would test my blood sugar in the bathroom, I would inject in the bathroom, and I'd come back and eat. Pretend everything was fine, there's nothing going on. I was embarrassed. Again, because I was shy, I had a fear of being different. I had a fear of being unique, and that held me back a lot. And that was difficult for me to break through. It took years of just battling that inner thought process in my head. And it's something I know a lot of people struggle with. I received a lot of emails, a lot of messages about people wondering how they can better build up that confidence, and it's a tough thing. It does take time. And it starts with you being okay with who you are. It starts with you accepting, I do have diabetes. This is who I am, it's part of who I am, right? It doesn't define you by any means, but it's a part of who you are. And if you keep rejecting that, you're gonna have a hard time living life free. You're gonna be held back, in a sense, by your own beliefs about yourself, by your own beliefs about diabetes, and you're gonna be suffering because you are at the mercy of those around you, because you perceive them as judging you. Even though, honestly, that's a selfish way to think, because most people, they got their own stuff going on. They don't really care about what's going on in your life. They could care less. They got their own stuff to stress about, you know? Everyone's got a lot of stuff going on in their lives. They're not spending their time micro-judging you. So that's an important thing to remember. But I want to get to the third type of person, right? The third persona of diabetes tech wearables. And this is what I'm going to call practically hidden. Not practically in the sense that it's almost hidden, but practically as in it was a practical choice. There's a reason behind why they did that. And I think that most of us are and do fall into this category. The practically hidden, it's hidden for practical purposes. So if you think like someone who's in construction, they need to hide this and they're not hiding because of embarrassment, they're hiding because they're protecting their sites. They're worried that the tubing in their pumps might get caught and ripped out. They're worried that their Dexcom might get caught on something and get ripped out. That's a really expensive fix for a lot of people. Insurance doesn't cover a lot of these things, and so if some people are paying out of pocket, that's hundreds and hundreds of dollars they have to pay to put a new Dexcom on. Or what if it gets pulled off and the transmitter gets lost with it? It can be a nightmare. And so they have to practically hide it, right? Hide it for practical reasons. Another example would be babysitting with small children. You might not want them tugging and yanking on things and ripping them off because A, it hurts, B, it's inconvenient, C, again, it's expensive. We don't want to deal with that. And so it's not about being embarrassed in that persona, but rather that they hide it for practical reasons and they're ready to advocate and educate when necessary. So if you fall into this category, it's more about, I'm going to, let's say, put it on my upper buttocks, right? Because then it's out of the way, no one can tug on it, or it's not gonna get caught on anything. But people might still see me taking out my pump and bolusing for a meal. They might see me getting my insulin pens out and taking an injection. They're gonna ask questions, and that's okay. Because that type of person is ready to educate, ready to advocate for what's going on, what they need. You know, insulin prices are high, let's talk about that. It's an interesting dinner topic. I wouldn't say it's a common one, but now it's opened up for that, right? And you are spreading awareness. You are educating, no, this is type 1 diabetes. No, I did not eat too much sugar, right? And so you get to a point where you are able to spread the word without worrying about, getting your diabetes tech caught on things. And so what it boils down to is, I don't want you to be afraid of showing off your diabetes tech, right? But stop broadcasting that we all need to be showers of our diabetes tech when you are not doing the same thing. If you're going out taking 50 pictures and posting them on social media when the day-to-day of your life is hiding your diabetes tech, don't spread that false message. If you are living that life, by all means, show it off, show others how to show it off, and encourage others to show off their diabetes tech. I was super shy about it initially. It was a tough battle for me, but eventually I took that step. I took, in my own life, that step of kind of sneaking it out, starting to let my sleeves show the Dexcom a little bit, or going to the beach and not worrying about what other people thought about me, to a point eventually where I was able to wear sleeveless tanks and have sights on my abdomen and not care, and just jump out into the beach, into the gym, whatever it was, and just go out there confidently as who I am. So get comfortable with the skin you're in, right? And that first step might even be get comfortable with wearing clothes that show the outline of your diabetes devices. Maybe it's a tighter shirt or tighter pants that show the Dexcom. Or maybe it's not putting your shirt over your pump that's hanging on your waist. It's letting your shirt flow, and whatever happens, happens. And if someone happens to ask you a question, it's a great opportunity for you to then educate them. Spread awareness and build your own self-confidence in becoming who you were meant to be, right? And again, diabetes does not define you, but it is a part of your life. So you might as well get used to educating and advocating and just becoming someone who doesn't hide their diabetes, right? It's okay to be shy, but don't be embarrassed. It's not worth being embarrassed of. This is something that keeps you alive. And tech is really cool, by the way. I could rant on that for a long time. Diabetes tech is incredible. The last 5 years even have changed my life dramatically. When I was first diagnosed, I was on vials and syringes. I moved over to insulin pens. Then I got a Dexcom. And then recently got an insulin pump, and just this series of events, and it's continually growing. These companies are very innovative, and they're continually putting out new content that is blowing our minds and making our lives so much easier. While we may not have a cure, we do have something that makes our lives a lot easier. We have a lot of things. And what it boils down to now is spreading awareness, being an advocate for this diabetes life, but also getting to a point where we have options. Like, I'm kind of locked in to certain options for diabetes tech because of my insurance. It should be an option. I'm kind of going off on a side tangent rant right now, but down the road, I'm hoping everyone has the option to pick which CGM is the best for them, which insulin pump is the best for them, which MDI, which type of insulin. There should be choices. There need to be choices because we're all different. We're all unique, and we all require different types of therapies. Now, action step. Take one baby step towards showing your gear to the public. Maybe that's just wearing tighter clothes. I'm not saying go out and wear spandex, just as an action step. If you want to, whatever, do what you want, but wear these tighter clothes so that's apparent that you have something on. Maybe that's wearing clothing that completely shows your sights. Finding a good starting point for you and become more comfortable with the situation that you're in. I promise that the less you care about showing it off, the more free you will feel, the more confident you will feel, the less headaches you have to deal with, worrying about if it's covered or not. Just go live your life. Enjoy your life. If you're watching on YouTube, drop a comment that says I'm in the comments down below. And if you're ready to take action on that step, just jump into it. Don't hesitate. Tomorrow, pick that new outfit. Get ready to start showing off your diabetes tech. If you're already doing this, kudos. Awesome. I'm proud of you. It took me some time. It might take you some time as well. Growth is uncomfortable. I want to make that clear. This isn't an easy step. It's going to take some motivation, some determination. Get out there. Start showing off your tech. It's going to be okay. I promise people aren't going to judge you. They got their own stuff to deal with. They might ask questions, and that's your opportunity to educate. Now, if you're listening to the podcast, I guess you can stop and say it out loud, right? No one's going to think you're crazy, right? I don't know. No, go ahead. Just say I'm in, comment I'm in. Take this action step, start wearing your tech proudly, be proud of who you are, and step into that new role and be confident about it. Hope you guys have an awesome day. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. Remember to subscribe on YouTube, subscribe to the podcast, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Keep up the fight.
Now that was a fun episode for me to record for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. And my question is to you, which of those three personas are you? And what are you going to do about it? Now today's episode was sponsored by the Trending Health Journal. In my opinion, the best tool available to figuring out your trends and patterns in blood sugar management and help making it a little bit less mysterious. You can find that at trendinghealthjournal.com. Remember to subscribe, leave us a review, and we'll see you on the next episode. Keep up the fight.